This is our first SQL tutorial using an Access database, and specifically we've opened the database called CD_database, and I'm working in Access 2007. There is one table in this database, CD table. If we double click on it, we can see its contents. SQL is about creating queries, in other words, about extracting data from the table. You can see that in CD table we have an artist field, a CD name field, a genre field, and a few others. So if we would like to extract all those CD names that belong to the genre wrap, then we would typically use a query. Access is a database that allows us to create queries easily, and it also allows us to then use SQL commands with which to extract data from our table. While we are in Access, let's use it to create, by clicking on the Create tab, a query by clicking on the Query Design button. A list of all the tables comes up. In this case, of course, we only have one table called CD table. I'm going to double click on it and say Close, and it has placed CD table in my query window. I want to expand this block so that we can see all the fields. There we go. And now I'm going to click on Artist, then keep Shift in and click on Contact Details so that I've selected all the fields in the CD table. And these I'm going to click and drag down to the selection box at the bottom. Our query is now making use of all the fields in the CD table, and it has placed them down here below. Right now my query is not adding much value, as it is doing nothing more than the CD table did already. It's displaying every field and every record. So let's run the query, and there we can see there's no difference between query 1 and the contents of the CD table. By the way, know that query 1 is the default name given by Access to any new query. It's probably a good time to save our query, and now it asks us for a new name, and I'm going to call this query genre and click on OK. It is time to take note of the View button. The View button has a drop-down menu, and it makes available Design View, which we've seen already, as well as SQL View, and that's where I'm going to click now. Access has created this SQL command in order to display all the fields from the single table called CD table. It is fairly complex. You can see that it starts off by saying select CD_table, that's the name of the table, and then the field name, etc., etc. However, we can do this more simply than Access does it. So let's delete them all. Highlight and press backspace. I want to try and write that same query simpler, so I'm going to start by typing select star, that means everything, from CD_table. And let's run this SQL command. And you can see that this query looks exactly like CD table, and therefore it looks exactly like the previous one that Access did. And the command is merely select star from CD table. So what does this mean? This line means from the table called CD table in the database called CD database, select all fields. The star represents all fields. Let's change this command so that we select not all the fields but only some of the fields. And let's start by selecting the field genre from CD table, run the command, and now you see that our query has extracted only the genre field from the CD table. Let's go back to the SQL view. Let's add two more fields. So we have genre already, and let's add artist and CD name. Notice I put commas between them. I run the query, and now I have a result consisting of genre, artist, and CD name. Let's go back to SQL view. In a test or exam, we will require you to highlight an SQL command like this and copy it and paste it into an answer sheet, typically a Word document, so that it's easier to mark. So remember, that's what you must do when asked to copy the SQL commands and paste them into a Word document. So far our query is not very useful. We have merely extracted 3 of the fields from the CD table. It would be much more useful if I could extract from those fields only those records that satisfy a specific condition. So for example, let's go and have a look at the CD table. Let's try and extract only those records for which the genre is equal to rock. So we want the artist, the CD name, and the genre, but only for those records for which genre is equal to rock. So what do we add here? We select genre, artist, CD name from CD table, where genre equals double inverted commas, rock, and close double inverted commas. Where's my run command? It's here under design, run, and look, suddenly I have genre, artist, and CD name, but only those records for which genre is equal to rock is now being displayed. Back to SQL view. If we were to change this query so that we would be able to extract both rock and rap CDs, then we say and genre equals double inverted commas rap and close double inverted commas. Go to the design tab and run the command, and our result is empty because there is no CD which has a genre of both rap and rock. So we must change our query. Let's go back to SQL view and say, instead of and, let's change and to or. Genre equals rap. Run it now, and now we have both rock and rap CDs being shown. Let's change our query now in order to extract replacement values of more than 140 Rand, regardless of which genre. So let's go and take out the genre, and we say select genre, artist, CD name from table, and I think we should add the replacement value, comma, replacement value from CD table where replacement value is larger than 140, and run the query. And suddenly I see that all my replacement values, if I scroll down here, they're all larger than 140, not even equal to 140. Let's change our query again, and this time we extract those CDs whose replacement value is greater than or equal to 140, as well as smaller than or equal to 180. So let's say greater than or equal to 140, and replacement value is smaller than or equal to 180. Run our query and see if we've extracted what we wanted. Are these values bigger than 180, or is there any value larger than 180? No, there isn't, but there are a number of 180s. So 180 is included. Is there 140 anywhere? Yes, there's one, so it does include 140 as well. So it looks as if our query works. Let's have a look and see what Access does with this query when we look at it in design view. So here's our table, and here's the query. Notice that here under replacement value, let's scroll to the right, I see that replacement value in CD table must be greater than or equal to 140, as well as and smaller than or equal to 180. Let's go back to SQL view. Let's change our query again, and this time display those same 3 fields with replacement values between 140 and 180, but in ascending order. And run the query in the design tab, and suddenly I see I have the same values, but this time they've been ordered from the smallest at the top to the largest at the bottom. Now I want to change my query once again to extract only those CDs whose artist's name starts with a B. So where do we select the specific fields? Here after the where command, where replacement value must be larger than 140 and replacement value must be smaller than 180. And this is the section about how to display it, order by replacement value. So before order by, I'm going to add and artist like, double inverted commas, B, asterisk as a wild card so that it represents anything after the B, and a double inverted comma. This should extract all those CDs whose replacement values fall between 140 and 180 and where the artist name starts with a B. Let's run it and see. Genre, artist, all starting with a B: Backstreet Boys, Busta Rhymes, Blink 182, Boxcar Racer, and Black Eyed Peas, and their replacement value is within the range. That's probably enough to give you a good overview of how to write SQL statements using Access and how to copy them into Word or a table within Word so that they can be marked and submitted.